All right, and that's where we are in studio now. I'm joined by the Cabinet Secretary for Devolution, that's Honorable Mwangi Kiunjuri. Thank you very much for making time to talk to us.
Thank you, James.
16 months to the elections. How far do you think the Jubilee is to achieve any of its mandates?
16 months is true that the government has been working through and through. We have seen the president not coming out on issues, political issues, but he has been very keen on issues on relating to development.
All right.
I've made a lot of trips out there, having been monitoring the system. Ministers not coming out also to discuss political issues, but the last 3 years, a lot of programs have been rolled out.
The problem is we can't see it, Waziri. It's a big problem today.
Yes.
If you've not been told, let me tell you that Kenyans have not seen anything for 3 years.
You see, the issue is that when there is no communication, we are not telling Kenyans what have we done, what have we achieved. We are not properly telling them this is what we have really achieved.
So the problem
For
is
example, the question of communication.
Yes.
You can look at the last 2 weeks when the president stepped out. He has been there launching, commissioning projects, and he can be able to do that for the next 16 months.
All right.
Because by the end of the day,
yes,
there is work that's been going on. Just one example. Mm-hmm. Look at the support to our level 5 hospitals, the equipment that have been set up there. In all the 47 counties, the county level 5
isn't this just normal government duties though? Because there's a government of the day, it's expected to be doing these things.
Yes.
They really had specific promises, and that's exactly what Kenyans are asking. There's a normal government. Any other government have been doing this same thing, was it?
You must differentiate what the government does is to fill its manifesto, and at the same time look at whether it is in line with the Vision 2030, because that is the programs that are being rolled out. And even if another government comes into place after 10 or 20 years, they will have to continue. There are some programs that must continue.
All right, let's talk about your specific portfolio, and that's the devolution. Do we need a devolution ministry, was it?
Yes, we need the devolution ministry. First of all, is that we need that connection between the county government and the national government in the question of coordination. And that is exactly what the Ministry of Devolution is doing, to ensure that is proper facilitation, and especially in these initial stages of coming up with the government. It has not been easy. If you look at even in the other developed countries and where devolution has taken place even years ago, you still have challenges. And therefore, at this juncture, the next 10 years or so, we need to ensure that there is proper coordination between the county government and the national government.
Let me put it to you from how other people are seeing it, or the critics would see of the devolution ministry, for instance. They say you have a parallel ministries or functions, say for instance the regional coordinator, the county commissioners and the chiefs, and all these systems that are parallel, and they seem to have loads of power than elected officials, say governors or senators, for instance. And it's been chaotic. Take Case Mombasa, for instance. It's chaotic, it's friction.
It's a question of KTN and Standard Group. You cannot say that because we have KTN, it's properly managed, that the same management should take over Standard, the newspapers. If you look at today, we have the executive, and it's properly defined. We have legislature, it is properly defined. If you look at the county government, they have come up, their structures, but we need people who are responsible of the national government. Who is the ear? Who is the voice of the national government? The question is the coordination.
Why can the governor be the ear of the president? I don't understand that. Why does the president need other appointees? Why can the governor, elected official, be the ear of the president?
The governors themselves, when you look at the constitution, it's very clear on the powers of delegated to the county government. The role of the county government is very clear, and the role of the national government. And even if you look at the allocations, revenue allocation, the sharing of the shareable revenues, it's very clear that the government has a role to play, and the county government have their role to play, and that is why not everything was devolved. We have still some functions that were left to the national government, which means the national government must take responsibility of its functions at the county level.
That brings us to the next question of how people have been clamoring and wanting more resources to go to the counties. Okua Kenya has it. There is Punguza Mzigo from your own political sides, has it. The governor have their own function of it. And there seem to be a whole country movement towards saying that the county government seem to be much more connected, much more implementers than the central government. How do you feel about that?
The truth of the matter is that the county government are closer to the people. Nobody can deny that. We have seen changes that have already taken place at the county level. However, as I told you, we still have national responsibilities that must be carried out. When it comes to sharing of resources, when it comes to, again, allocations, again, we must weigh out how much goes to the county and how much will be left to the national government. The one thing that Kenyans are not very clear of, they have not been educated, is that we have the constitution requirement that 15% should be devolved.
We can always increase that.
What? We have already increased.
That's what I'm saying. We can
At one particular, the year 2013, 2014, we devolved 43% of the money went to the counties.
That was for the 2009 budget, though.
This year, we have 33%.
But not for the audited budget, was it? You have to be very clear. These are for the audit. It's not for the previous year. It's for the audited budgets 2009.
It's audited budget. That's what the constitution exactly. is very clear about that.
Yes.
What should go directed to people. But also, as I said in the morning, there are so many things that the constitution never envisaged. For example, the state we are in today, we have terrorism. Yes, we have other issues that have come up. Nobody thought that you require to budget for those national emergencies, and at the same time, the resources where they are supposed to come from. Nobody is also telling us that even the county governments, we are supposed to have their own mechanism, way of collecting revenue, so that they can also subsidize their function, whatever they are doing. So it's an issue of understanding that the government is fulfilling its obligation, and at the same time that the counties themselves are charged with some of these responsibilities.
I must ask you, as someone who sits and in charge of devolution, when you see getting into all these frictions and you have systems that seem to be of the yesteryears and where Kenyans want to go, as someone who sits there and you're responsible for this, what do you think are some of the practical things that can be implemented today, for instance, to have a smooth running, of both national functions and county government functions? Because there has to be something that can be done, surely.
We are doing a lot. We must agree that even a child, when a child is born, you expect several stages to take place. Yeah? The mother holding, nursing the baby, crowing, then the child will start and walk. And even you change the food, the diet is changed. This government has been able to stabilize this child. We have taken it from the birthplace, and today, devolution is a success story. And I dear Kenyans, you just you can get information these days. You can Google for the information, and you look at the case, Kenyan case. All the organizations, reputable organizations, all our partners will tell you that the way devolution took place in this country is unprecedented. And
that's great to Kenyans. We need to wind up, but I must ask you, Waziri, you sort of inherited a ministry that appears to be on fire. All right. The other day we were hearing about the youth fund, which is under your docket, being embroiled in scandals, money lost. NYS, of course, it's a question of money being lost. What was exactly happening in that devolution ministry?
Let me say that when the last time the government was reconstituted, the Ministry of Public Works came into place. No, Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender came into place, and therefore the youth docket was placed at that ministry. However, I would like to say that much as it has been hyped of what happened in the NYS, the other story is not being told of the success story. How much money was allocated to National Youth Service? How many billions? What was the success story about NYS? So that when we
lost money, was it?
We lost money.
Yes. Can we admit that we lost money?
To
that
this far,
taxpayers' money.
To this far, taxpayers' money was lost. But we cannot say exactly that it was lost because investigations are still going on.
There are people who are in court today as we speak,
yes,
being charged the loss of 791 million. Yes. How can we not say that money was not lost?
It was lost. I can say money was either lost, but the outcome of these cases, we'll be able to tell how the money was lost.
That is true, but we need to make an admission to Kenyans that taxpayer money was lost.
And two, the question is, has the government denied that? Has the government been of hindrance to the investigations? Has the government given the investigating arm?
The government hasn't been particularly forthcoming, was it?
The government has been very clear.
It hasn't been very forthcoming. The last we've heard about NYS were the two sides, political sides, that was the TNA and URP going at each other, saying you're the one who stole it, you're the one who, bottled up. We know this, was it? So please, I think the very least we can do is to make an admission and say there was a mistake, and due to those mistakes, that's why we created changes.
The government offers an opportunity to each and everyone. This time around, we have allowed all the investigating arm of government, either EACC and other relevant authorities, to go deep into the case. And once it is decided, Kenyans will be there and witness the outcome of it. But what I'm saying is that why are we also not telling Kenyans being told the success of NYS, the success of the government? Because if you look at what the government is doing, everyday performance, and you look at the headlines in the newspapers, you look at the news, you say that you think that the country is burning.
Are you blaming Kenyans for saying money was lost?
No. It's their money.
Exactly. Exactly. So we are rightfully angry by saying this is 792. Even if it was 1 million or 1 shilling, we should be angry. That is the whole import of this discussion.
I don't want to go deeper into it. What I'm saying is, yes, we should be able, because we live in this country, all of us are Kenyans.
Yes.
And anything that goes out there has an effect, either negative or positive effect.
So I want us to leave at this. Yeah. We accept that the government is doing some work, but you have to make an admission tonight that money was lost.
I will not commit myself to that. I'm saying.
So from where you sit, money was not lost.
There will be judgment.
No. Hang on, Waziri. There are 4 people.
Where there is fire.
Yes.
Where there is smoke, there might be fire.
Where
there is smoke, there is fire.
Waziri, I cannot let you go without making that very clear. Can you make an admission tonight that money was lost? NYS money was lost.
Investigations are going on.
There are people who are being charged in court today.
There are people who have been charged in court. And
the former cabinet secretary is being investigated by the
You only judged after being heard, and the case is concluded. What we are saying is that it's very clear.
All right.
They are all signs, but you have to let the judges do their work.
All right. We definitely need like a whole day to go through this. But thank you very much. I wish you very well. 16 months. I hope we can have this sit down some other time and talk about the successes, and hopefully there won't be scandals.
The issue is that we get the opportunity.
Yes.
We are able to tell Kenyans what we have done, and as I told you, we can be able to tell of our success story from today. Every day we can wake up to tell Kenyans of the success of this government to August 14.
Thank you very much, Waziri.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We've been talking to Waziri Mwangi Kiunjuri, talking there about the matters at NYS and the successes and devolution and the ministry that he heads.